GWVersus. We put the V back in GWG.
Hello everyone, welcome again to GWVersus. My name is Wally, and we're bringing you our third commentated video today. Joining me as commentators are Trex and Steppen from Treacherous Empires to comment on a brilliantly played nail-biter of a match that occurred in the last weekend before ladder lock of Season 2 of the Guild Wars Faction Championship. Hello, Trex.
Hi, Wally.
Hi, Steppen.
Hey, Wally.
Welcome to Versus, and I thank you for joining me for commentating. As this match is getting started, I just wanted to get your sort of strategies and first strategic decisions when you see War Machine flash up and you know you're fighting them on the ice map, which is one of their favorite maps.
Well, first, when we saw War Machine pop up, we knew the game was very likely to go to victory or death, as War Machine favors split tactics as opposed to fighting straight up 8v8, especially on this ice map where it's very open and the flag stand is somewhat isolated on the opposite side of the map. And so I expected to be lots of communication and possibly frustration coming from my team while playing War Machine.
I agree. When the match just started, I wasn't expecting War Machine to come out that strong, and I did notice that they held back just to assess the situation first, and I also knew that the game was going to be very long.
So were there any things that you did sort of to take the game to them, or was it were you thinking more offensively or defensively at this point?
Well, it's really important to see where your enemy is going and what they're doing, but at the same time we wanted to get strong control of the flag stand, trying to force them to run flags and run the game towards the center. We could actually control them a little bit on their movement, as opposed to letting them have the initiative and choosing whether they're going to make us run flags or defend our base. We're choosing to take the fight to the flag stand and saying, hey, you're going to fight us here or you're going to give us morale.
It's a really powerful decision you're forcing. At this point, we're sort of focusing on the offensive split with two of their assassins, both of which carry Aura of Displacement. I just wanted to get both of your thoughts on how you think Factions has impacted the game and sort of what skills you've taken into your own build and what sort of skills that are now things that you really need to prepare for.
Well, one thing that you really need to prepare for these days is the teleporting Assassins of Doom that go to your base and kill your NPCs with lightning speed. And one way to prepare for that is having enchant removal, so you can pull them away from your NPCs and effectively stop them from causing a late game of VOD that could, potentially hurt you by destroying your base defenses. So it's really important to have enchant removal for those Aura of Displacement assassins running around. And I guess another thing to be prepared for with this upcoming Factions is skills such as teleports and shadow shrouds. You'll notice in this match there's going to be a lot of teleporting and some shadow shrouds being cast on players, where players are forced to change their position or their strategy as they play the game to avoid being taken out. As you can see right now, I'm not sure if they have a Shadow Shroud, but they're pushing on a monk right now. A Wola just went down.
No, that was me actually.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah, what happened was they were, at first we were doing pretty well on the offensive side, and we took down an archer and were pushing them back, but I think when their flag runner came back, they decided to push on us, and they got a gale on me, and their sword warrior, who had Bull's charge, got close enough to keep me within his range, so I couldn't run away. So there wasn't much I could do, so yep.
Wow. That's a lot of offense on just one poor little monk. And speaking of a lot of pressure, here is your TE focusing on Barry, War Machine's number 4 monk. There was a gale on the ice, there was a blackout, and there's another blackout right there. And yet she lives to carry the day. And I just wanted to ask how sort of what the target priority, how that has evolved from the beginnings of the game, like what is the general strategy to take down monks? How do you decide what target you should go for at any given time?
Well, generally, the game has evolved so much from just attacking monks to spiking, and now it's gone into this pressure mode where you want to attack a monk when they're most vulnerable. And, you know, statistically, a monk is most vulnerable when their health is low and they don't have full mana. And that's the ideal time to attack. And in this case, where Barry, she was alone. She was alone by herself, and we knew that she had been spending some energy because of our offense pressuring the assassins. We decided to push on her and try to kill her at that time. And War Machine, with as brilliant as they are with tactics, their second group showed up just in time to get a few heals off on her before she took a nosedive.
So what sorts of, how can you bring about monks in that sort of weakened state? Is it by targeting them? Is it by like energy denying them? Is it most effectively done by degen pressure? What's the sort of tactic TE has been taking to capitalize on that?
Well, that's the interesting thing. That question can't be answered 100%. It's more of a team play thing. It's more of a what you do in your group. Every game is different, and some opportunities may arise in some games that don't in others. Generally, you want to be causing damage to the opposing team because the monks are forced to heal that damage. And when they are forced to heal that damage, they are not at full energy. And once you get yourself into a good position, say you cap the flag, or you get a kill on an enemy monk, or a random kill, it's usually a good time to attack those monks, because they're not going to be prepared for it, they're going to be delayed, set back, and you just got to look for those opportune moments and, you know, take advantage of it. You want to create a margin of error, and in that margin, you want that monk to mess up. A great example is a warrior is attacking, a warrior or two warriors even, is attacking a healer monk, and that healer infuses another target. You know, there's a good chance he could get killed in that small window where he has to heal himself back up for an infuse. And it's just a matter of putting so much pressure on their backlines that they're going to make these tiny little errors, and every little error is going to add up, and you're going to get kills.
Usually when there's a stalemate, it's going to take everyone to call out these small windows of opportunity to push on the backline, whether it be a mesmer who knows that he's trained a monk to 0 energy, or a warrior who has a monk on a run because he can't stand and take the pressure anymore. It's important for the whole team to communicate to each other for pushes.
Communication really is the key to this game, isn't it?
Yes, communication is very, very important. Right there in the video you just saw a kill on the War Machine flagger, and that definitely takes communication. Even a small action like that, because you know, that warrior was only a few steps away from the flag stand, and being able to communicate with your team, say, hey, body block him, gale him, knock him down, helps you get these small game-breaking plays. And communication is really the only way you can do that.
Yes, and it pays off big right there with your morale boost. But back onto the top of monks, I know since we have Step in here commentating, I'd be really interested in his viewpoint as to how Factions has sort of generated a renaissance in monk innovation. You run a very unique build that seems to be fitted really well and integrated into the TE build, but also but I'd also like to sort of get your thoughts on what the War Machine number 8 is doing, which is also running an extremely innovative build, I think, and how these builds come about and what their weaknesses are and how they hold up in a split.
Well, I think Factions did bring a lot of new and strong options to the monk line. I think every top team is experimenting with their own builds at the moment. I think the new elites, Blessed Light, Empathetic Removal, Boon Signet, all have strong possibilities within new builds. I think my build probably wouldn't do as well in a different backline. It fits pretty well with the current backline, so I can pull it off, but say if I was to play for War Machine, like switch my monk with their number 8, it probably wouldn't do as well. Their War Machine's number 8 monk is running a very interesting build. He's maintaining 3 enchantments on himself, Illusion of Weakness, Divine Boon, and Holy Veil, and he's using Boon Signet to gain 6 energy every 5 seconds. And he's also using Distortion, so it looks very efficient and tough to kill.
And recently we took a little bit of a turn, and some of our skills that we've taken on our monks, I mean, some people look at us and say, you have 2 enchant removals on a monk, and we say, yeah, we do. I mean, it's great offense as well as defense at the same time. And in this video, or in this match, there was a point where Stepan started stealing the enemy assassin's Aura of Displacement and started teleporting all over the map to either A, get to the base, or B, escape from the assassins. And it's just taking those skills, that have potential to both be offensive and defensive at the same time, is just really great. And right now, just coming up with another flag.
I think at this point the War Machine's falling back, but they've set up their assassins so they could ambush our flag runner.
And I believe this part is where Stepan's teleporting. He's up on the left side of the screen.
Yes.
And he'll probably teleport down right there. You can see him in front. And the assassins will again try to jump on him, and then he'll teleport back on top of the rock. Really difficult to do when you have so many things to worry about as a monk. Don't try this at home.
War Machine Fairy Queen teleports to me on top of the rock, and then I teleport to Zhang, who's on the bottom of the ice right there. And at this point I still have an Aura of Displacement on me, which I will cancel later when I think Zhang or Queen tries to attack me again, as I push up to heal Hudo, who's carrying the flag right now, and both assassins have jumped on him. Actually, one has. One's come back for me, but the focus has changed, so we can't see that.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I just learned that recently about the Inspired Enchantment, and I believe it's Revealed Enchantment, is even though the skill is expired on his bar, if you still have an enchant, it will remain maintained if you have it maintained. And you can save it for later and really surprise an enemy with it.
Yes, particularly with something as shocking and game-changing as a teleport skill like Aura of Displacement. As we were talking earlier about generating monk mistakes, when someone's under fire, like for instance, this War Machine number 8 who's putting on distortion and walking out, like with your 2 warriors on top of him, what are the sorts of things that War Machine's offense, what are they doing to help him out? What are things that you can do that a build's offense should be able to do to assist its backline when it's under attack like this?
Well, if you just notice while War Machine number 8's monk was down, the War Machine warrior with the charge came over and knocked down Bob with his bull's charge. And that let off some pressure and he was able to walk away.
It's just being able to delay their offense is what's so potent in victories with these lesser backlines. I mean, sometimes less is more. You have more offense, they can help your defense, and vice versa. Having those skills such as gales and blackouts, those are really effective in delaying the opponent. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. A lot of times a monk will die not because he's out of energy, but because he gets shut down or is knocked down or gets spiked and he can't defend himself for that short period of time. And that's where the offense needs to step up and take responsibility for their own backline.
Oh, so I see. So just as players now are capitalizing on small windows of opportunity, the offense can also sort of disrupt the opposing offense just long enough for that window of opportunity to have passed.
Yeah,
Right.
and a great guild to look at that with is just watching Evil. Everybody thinks their monks are some unborn gods just floating around, staying alive the entire game, and they just always barely stay alive. And a lot of that has to do with their offense helping their defense and buying those increments of time where they can sneak those quarter-second casts off.
So, with the focus on sort of timing and the importance of quarter-second casts, do you feel that that healing monks have a place in GVG again, or is it mainly just sort of isolated skills still, like Infuse or Gift of Health, which have more niche applications now with Shadow Shroud?
Personally, I think D hasn't gotten used to a heal monk template in any of our builds, and we feel comfortable with the protection line because of the fast cast times and the reliability. But we do notice how there are guilds currently running strong healer monk based builds, and we do think that they are viable, but haven't really looked into them yet. Not extensively. I think to be a successful heal monk player, you're gonna have to really stay far in the back line, and your partner definitely has to help you, because heal monks normally aren't able to split as well or solo against another split team.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. When it comes to the split, heal monks are little babies, and you have to take care of them, or they're just gonna die on you. If that doesn't sound terrible.
Of course not. We're all about making strategic pronouncements, and I would say that given the long lead time of heal casts, that it presents a very unique challenge in slotting it into a GVG build, particularly with the metagame now, where it seems to be that games can turn on a dime, just as this one has, back and forth, back and forth. Looking at the morale chart now, it's been neck and neck again.
Yeah, in this game we felt more concerned with saving our NPCs rather than the morale boost. because we know War Machine is such a dominant guild at Victory or Death, we wanted to stay somewhat on the same level. And the way they're just moving around and teleporting across the map back and forth, we're sort of forced to play a little defensive, and sometimes we just can't get the flag out fast enough for those morale boosts, or they will, send those assassins after our flag runner and kill it, because we don't have the ability to get to them, because we lack teleports in our build. So right now they just converged, and we actually fought a short round of 8v8 in the middle there, and now the War Machine team has split again, and they went towards sent a group towards the middle, and our offense is now pushing their flag group into their base. So here they are taking out more NPCs.
Yes, it seems to be somewhat of a theme of the War Machine game to have these crazy assassins taking on all comers. Zhang right now actually is going to, I think, is going to cut it really close. He survives.
Yeah, I remember this. I got a little unlucky. My apply poison wore off right as he started getting out of range, and he dodged my longbow arrow, and so can't have them all. And there I get a little greedy. I decide to try to chase him around the corner and get him, but no success. And once again, War Machine's tactics pulls through, and he gets healed by a monk. Just the positioning of War Machine is so amazing, and it's really hard to catch them off guard. And it'll look like you're winning 1 second, and then it turns around the very next.
So with this game being a long preparation for Victory or Death, that's what you're planning for, that's what War Machine wants. So obviously that you need to change how you're evaluating how well you're doing to factor in the NPCs as well. At this point, At this point, what are you trying to do? Are you trying more to defend your NPCs? Are you trying to go after theirs more aggressively? What's the strategy here, and what are your options as you see them?
Well, the way I saw this match is we have to try to contain them and force them to go where we want them to. But with these assassins, we didn't know that they were going to be teleporting so vigorously around the map. We're kind of forced to play a little defensive, because they will kill our bodyguards and all of our NPCs in about 30-45 seconds. If you give them that opportunity, they're going to get something. So it's very difficult. It's very hard to prep.
Our offense was doing a good job against their split and containing them, but generally we were really concerned with our flag runner and our NPCs. Because what their assassins would do, they would mark their teleport on our flagger's trail and just jump him when he's coming out with one. Since the map is so flat and there aren't too many obstacles, they could pretty much teleport anywhere from across the map.
It's quite an advantage, particularly when not only is it so flat, it's also the terrain features are also the important features of the map are also quite far apart. So being able to shadow step so quickly is quite a boon. Would you have rather faced them on any other map?
I put a lot of good thought into this, and I was thinking of all the different options, and I was thinking, wouldn't it be great if we could run fire map against them where they can't run around too much? And then I realized that the ice map actually does have one of the best, defensive setups when it comes to NPCs. A big part of that would be the 2 archers out the front, right up on the hillside in front of the Guild Lord area. Really help protect against teleporting assassins. For example, on the fire map, you're on a pedestal, and they could run around behind, mark a spot behind the bodyguards, teleport up, and then teleport back to safety. And on the ice map, they really cannot go straight for the bodyguards on an assassin template due to those archers out front. They have to kill those first. And those were, in my mind, a huge priority to keep alive, are those archers right in front of the guild lord area. You can see Bob Angry attacking one of those archers I'm talking about. Those archers play a critical role in the defense on this ice map. Otherwise, you have assassins teleporting directly to your bodyguards, and bodyguards are the kings of VOD. So you have to keep them alive, especially against a team like War Machine.
Alright, so here, Steppen goes down, and I saw you flash a res sig, but ultimately cancel it. What are your tactical thoughts with this particular situation, since I know you wanted to spend some words on it?
Well, judging from the situation, I noticed Steppen was teleporting around one instant, and then the assassins caught up to him, and they jumped on him. And I was thinking, either A, I could res him and risk him dying again, or, you know, I can try to save myself and get out of there. So ultimately was a chance, do I risk it, can Steppen handle it if I res him? And I looked at the timer, and I saw there was 30 seconds to res, and I was like, to res, and I thought, well, I might as well cancel. We're going to res anyways, and it's better safe than sorry. Because when you get resed by a res sig, you get about 10 energy, and I was not sure if that was going to be sufficient to deal with 2 assassins and a mesmer.
It was the right choice, definitely. We wouldn't have won 2v4.
And I may have been able to even save myself in that position if I was quicker at thinking about it. But from instinct, I automatically think turn and res when I see a monk go down. And if I would have kept running, I may have survived. But you'll never know. Those are the mistakes that inevitably happen because everyone is human. And all you have to do to get better is prevent those types of mistakes. Learn from what has happened and move on.
And there's a stunning example of Steppen flying through the air. So as we had talked before about communication really being the key to this game, clearly there are a lot of things that players just need to decide on their own. For example, your decision with the res sig, just doing that on such short notice and just going with a gut feeling. What are things that absolutely need to be communicated, and what sorts of things happen? Like what gets left out? What sort of becomes automatic when you hear something? How long does it take for that to sort of set in, and what are the types of things that always should be communicated regardless?
Well, let's tackle the things that need to be communicated first. Usually you only want to communicate really big game-breaking decisions if you're a monk. It's really important if you're getting hit by 3 warriors and you're knocked down that you say something that, say, I need help, I'm knocked down, I'm getting spiked. Anything that can be game-breaking always needs to be said. If you're holding the flag and there's 3 people departing from the main group to come attack you, you need to say something before it's too late. And that just comes in time and working with yourself in Guild Wars. No one can teach you to determine a game-breaking moment, but eventually you will get to the level where you could recognize when you need help, when you don't, and make calls for yourself. And as opposed to other small little flourishes, if you will, in gameplay is coordinating plays with your team. One such example is if I ask a warrior to shock a target, they know it's very likely I will try to cripple that target and follow it up with a blackout to maximize damage and our effects and maybe a monk push or something. And that comes, you know, in just a few weeks of working on the same build with the same team members and kind of understanding how each other think. Right now, everybody's going frantic because it's about VOD. We have 'em on the go here. And Paladin did a crazy little run into the NPCs there. And because we really wanted to have the NPC advantage on War Machine. Right now, I believe we're up 2 archers at the Victory or Death. And so I make a call right here to pull off to the side at the res pad, so the NPCs will run by and not aggro our group, so we can keep War Machine contained, finally, after 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm. And particularly with Victory or Death, it's really, though the morale chart shows, would suggest that you guys are in the clear victory at this point. As we mentioned before, War Machine's very, very VOD savvy, and you guys, and it's illustrated by the kind of caution that you guys are taking with making sure that their NPCs go out to the flag stand where you have the advantage. Could you, I guess, sort of discuss a little bit more about how War Machine finesses its VOD tactics? What are the things that they usually do? What do they count on, particularly in light of the really illustrative matches in this regard, the playoffs last season against IGI?
Well, on this map, at VOD, there's 2 really important areas that you need to focus on, and one is delaying the NPCs off to the side of the map, and you can see that Zhang killed a bodyguard on the way out, which is amazing. And in the center, it's like a hill, and think of it as king of the hill. On this map, if you can get your NPCs to the top of the hill, it's very likely you will win, because the other enemy's NPCs are going to get clustered and hit by AoE from the bodyguards. And in regards to the IGI matches, War Machine would wait until VOD and capitalize on pulling those NPCs and getting their NPCs on top of that ice hill in the center. And ultimately they would win through the sheer amounts of damage and AoE that would get rained down upon them. And you also would notice they'd throw a warrior on the pathway up so the others could not get up there, the other enemy NPCs. So a lot of it has to do with preparation and actual execution, and it's a race for the NPCs to the middle. If you can get yours there first, it's likely they'll win.
That sounds like a good tactic to me. So obviously, we just watched Treacherous Empire take down War Machine in this really sort of touch-and-go match on the ice map. It was really kind of an important game for you guys, since upon winning this, it put you to the #1 spot on the Guild Wars ladder. Was there any sort of celebration as a result of this? Surely there must have been jubilation upon winning.
I don't know if there was any parties or anything, but there definitely was a sigh of relief and couple remarks at how annoying War Machine can be to play with the way they run around, and there was a lot of happiness too, I guess. It was short-lived, sadly. War Machine decided they would farm the ladder for about 10-11 hours more after this match, so we didn't get the top for the end of the season, but it was definitely an exciting match, and it was well worth the watch too.
Yeah, it was well worth the play. Probably one of the best matches I've had in a while. It was also the only match we played that night, but it was well worth it, and decided to end on a good note for the season.
Yeah, what a match to go out on. Stefan, any sort of comments on your stint as a teleporting monk?
I don't know. it was definitely really crazy, that one moment around 11:30 to 12 minutes, but I just went on instinct and it paid off.
Well, I think that sounds good. Um, any last words for our viewers before we wrap it up?
If you fight Steppen, bring up Fly Swatter because he's a pest. He'll buzz around you, but you can't hit him. No, thank you very much for having us, Wally.
Oh no,
Yeah,
it's my
thanks for having
pleasure.
us.
It's been a pleasure. It's always wonderful to have members of TE come and commentate. The pleasure's all ours at Versus. I hope to speak with you guys again in the future. You're welcome back at any time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good night, everyone.